Logging into your class can be done by going to lms.nhcms.net. Once you reach that web page, your username will be your email address, and the default password will be capital P @SSW0RD. Once you have put in your email address and password, you can click on Login. Once you are onto the login screen, you will see your current user profile. To find your current training, simply click right here where it says Current Training. From the current training, you will see current classes that you are assigned to. Today, I am assigned to this Excel 2013 Part 1 class, so I will click on that. Once I have actually gone to the current training class, the first steps we should do is to make sure we have check marks next to everything in our pre-class preparation. I have already gone through this, so I am completely ready to go. If you saw an X or no check marks next to everything, we need to go through these 3 steps. The first step would be to sign the recording agreement. New Horizons classes are recorded so you can have access to them for the first 6 months. So we need to go to the agreement. I can click on View Agreement, and it says, by clicking the Agree button, you acknowledge that training sessions will be recorded and available for viewing by other students for 6 months after the training session has ended. This agreement is binding. If you change your mind, you must contact your account executive, educational consultant to be rescheduled in a different class that is not available online. As long as I agree, we click on Agree. If we did not agree, we'd click on Disagree. I have already agreed to this, so I can just simply click on OK. The next thing we need to do is actually test our virtual classroom. We do that by clicking right here where it says Enter Configuration Room. A window will pop up which will load an Adobe Connect configuration room. This is not your class. This is simply a room for configuring, where it makes sure that your computer is capable of running and has all the necessary drivers to run the class. Again, this is not your classroom. This can be used for audio setup. Audio setup can be gotten to by going to Meeting and choosing Audio Setup Wizard. It will welcome you to the Audio Setup Wizard, and the first step it'll say is click Next to proceed. The first thing is we can check our output to make sure that we can hear the instructor as well as other sounds. We simply click on Play Sound. Since I was able to hear the sounds, I can just click Next. If I did not hear any sound coming out of my headphones or from my speakers, I would click on Help, and it'll help discover what the issue is. But since I did hear the sound, I'm going to click on Next. The next step is to choose my microphone. Am I using the microphone on my laptop? Do I have a webcam that has a built-in microphone? Am I using a headset? The list of available options will show up here. So I have 2 different choices. I have a microphone and a headset. Since today I'm going to use my headset, I choose the headset and click Next. The next thing we need to tune our microphone volume. We do that by clicking Record and speaking the sentence listed here. I can see the recording bar is moving and my microphone is working properly. Since I saw the recording bar moving, I know that it is working. I can also choose to play the recording to hear my recording to make sure it's working. Since mine is working properly, I can click on Next. The next step is to actually detect the silence or background noise to make sure that the microphone is quiet when it is quiet and it is active when you are speaking. All we have to do is click on Test Silence. It says Test Complete. Click Next to complete the wizard. We choose Next. It will tell us our settings that it was done. Now that we have done that, we can click Finish, and we are done in the configuration room. To exit out of the configuration room, all you have to do is click on the X in the top right-hand corner. The other window, if it has appeared, This was the window that it used to actually open the configuration room. You can close this window as well. The next step is to launch our virtual lab environment. To do that, we launch our test lab by clicking the button right here. In many New Horizons classes, we use virtual labs for our classes. They are also called LODs, Labs on Demand, and this will configure it to make sure that the labs will actually run properly on your machine. The window that pops up will help you configure and understand how the labs actually work. I'm simply going to click on Next. Then it'll tell you to please read this entire screen as it holds important information. This is a very valuable screen. I do recommend reading it when it does pop up. But I'm going to simply click OK, which will take me into my lab environment. Now, in our lab environment, this works just like any Windows-based machine. The only additions are these areas on the right side for content, for individual machines, as well as getting support, and then on the bottom for individual instructions to walk you through the exercise. Your instructor will tell you what to do with these, and he may even tell you to simply click on the pin icon to actually remove them from the screen altogether. There is also options on the top of the screen for your display settings to make sure it is full screen, or to fit the window to the machine, or simply refresh, as well as common commands to use inside the virtual lab, such as Control-Alt-Delete, Windows key, pasting usernames and passwords, shutting the machine off, using a virtual keyboard, or actually taking snapshots. Your instructor will walk you through what steps you need to do, but he will probably tell you more than once that you will need to go up to commands and choose an item like paste password. To exit out of the Labs on Demand, you will not click on the red X up top. What you actually need to do is choose Exit and to cancel the lab. Then it'll ask you, are you sure you want to cancel the lab? And yes, I do want to cancel my lab. My lab has now been canceled, to which I can close the window. Once you have the check mark next to all of the pre-class preparations, the next thing you need to do is actually launch the class, which you should have a button that simply says Launch Class. When you choose Launch Class, a very similar screen and window will pop up as the configuration room. This will be your actual class and class environment that you will use for the duration of the class. Once it loads, you will notice that it will bring up a sharing screen to where you will see the instructor's computer. You will see his live webcam video if he is broadcasting it. You will see all the other students that are here, as well as have a chat window to which you can type in, "Hello, everyone." With this, you will also notice that you have a green button up here to mute your speakers. And right next to that, you have a little hand raise symbol. These are status buttons to where you can choose to raise your hand to ask a question. You can agree with something the instructor is saying. You can disagree. You can step away if you had to take a phone call or go to the restroom during class just to let the instructor know that you have stepped away from the computer. You can ask him to speak louder or speak softer. Speed up, slow down. Maybe you found something that he said funny, or you would just like to give him a round of applause. These options can be used and are highly recommended to be used during the class. Anytime you use one of these commands, it will show up next to your name in the participants list. The instructor will also get an audio tone in his ear, letting him know that you found something that he did funny or you agreed with what he did. This is the easiest way for you to interact with the instructor, and it is highly recommended that you use these. There is also the same meeting option to where you can choose the audio setup wizard again if you would like to actually check the audio or adjust any of the settings that we did before in the configuration room. Other options that you can do where the speaker symbol is you can click on the drop down and you can actually adjust your speaker volume here as well, to where I can say, nope, it is too loud, I would like to turn this down. You can also turn down your main system volume as well. Once you reach the conclusion of your class, the instructor will ask you to fill out a brief survey. To fill out the survey, you simply need to go to Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, or any other browser and go to www.metrics.matter/RNGE36CTY. Once you go to that webpage, you will be taken to a list of classes that are running. From the list, it'll say, please select one. Please select your actual class. So today I am taking Excel 2013, Part 1. After I have chosen my class, I'll simply click Next. Then I can enter in my email address. And start the survey. The survey will first ask you how you are taking the class. I was taking the class today as an online live class. I may have also been taking the class in a physical classroom with an instructor present or in a mentored learning classroom. But today I was taking it online live. And I can choose Next. It will then ask me general questions about the class while I was here. It'll ask me to rate the classroom environment. If you give any scores besides a 9, please leave a comment so we can better understand why you were not completely satisfied. So hopefully in the future we can completely satisfy you. It also asks you how to rate your instructor. And the same thing, if you are giving the instructor anything but a 9, please leave comments as to why you are not completely satisfied so we can make sure to correct these problems so you can be completely satisfied upon your next class. Once you get to the end of the survey and have rated everything and given comments in any necessary fields, it'll ask you some information about your learning impact. On will this help you at work? Will this increase your sales, productivity, and some general percentage questions. It'll also ask if you would like to be notified about advanced or complementary courses. And you can choose Next. If you skipped any questions, it will tell you that I skipped question 4 and just need to fill in that information. And then I can choose Next. There are some additional questions asking about your name. It'll ask me if it has been my first time at New Horizons and if I would recommend it. Please list any comments, suggestions, or interests you have, as this will help us better suit your needs. Once you have completed your survey, click on Submit. The last step is to enter your name for your certificate, which I will enter Bob Boberson. Please make sure this is spelled correctly. Double and triple check that you do not have any typos with your name, as this cannot be changed after proceeding. Once I get to this step, I can view my certificate. And here is my certificate for my class completion. From here, I have the option of printing my certificate if I have a printer available. I can email the certificate to myself, or I can simply save it as a PDF to be able to email it, print it at a later time. Once you are finished and have saved, emailed, and or printed it yourself, simply click on Finish. Once you have clicked on Finish, you are done with your survey, and hopefully you had a great experience with your class.